Hello and welcome back to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5th edition live play that plays every Tuesday night. And impressively, we have managed to meet almost every Tuesday night recently. Thanks to the flexibility of Elisa, who was out for a couple sessions, but she was back tonight. So welcome back, Elisa.
Thank you.
Last time, so if you didn't listen to the recordings, a bit of this will be a little bit of a surprise for you. But last time, the group returned to the city of Everwatch with their flumphs in tow. The Archmage brought them to the Temple of Arathis, where they dumped off the flumphs, and then determined to know as much about the person attacking Everwatch with zombies, and to try and confirm things as much as possible. Jebel and Vendar, especially Vendar, decided that they would pay for communes, as many as they felt they needed, to nail down some details. And through these series of communes, they were able to determine that person who had attacked the city was in fact Alvernus Westigo, the necromancer whom the party had chased into Thanandir and destroyed, defeated, and witnessed eaten by a dragon months earlier. They also were able to determine that he was not working alone, and that he was in fact now a lich. They asked some questions, now that they were on the subject of liches, about Garland and Minuet Kuvara. Unfortunately, the commune spells were only able to give them unsure or unknown, uncertain answers to those, not yes or no. So they weren't able to determine anything definitive about her, except that she and Garland are beyond the scope of the divine beings they were communicating with. After they trumped around the city, going to many different temples and paying for communes at each of them, my favorite being when they went to the Temple of Cord, and Issa Farrell, rather than demanding coin, demanded that the rest of the party tell her how Raiken came to possess the Armor of Cord, since when she'd asked him directly, he simply said, one day I didn't have it, and the next I did, and I'm pretty sure it's because I'm awesome, which she didn't accept as a true answer. The party returned to Boarhunter Lodge, where they rested and waited for Laramendus to return. Laramendus, having spent the last 15-odd hours in Volinar, capital of Bromdor, with Nalia, exchanging spells and stories. He returned, and I believe that as everyone was settling into sleep, he requested to borrow the pendant that contains the Armor of Cord from Raiken so that he might study it, since Raiken related that his only memory of this Minuet Kuvara, since he sold the story to a fae, was from when he used the climax song and had nearly died doing so. He witnessed a message from her at that time. Then, we'll start with, I think, since it's happening at night, everybody else is asleep, or going to sleep, falling asleep, as it were. Laramendus, you are casting Identify, I believe it was, to try and understand more about this magic item.
Right. Identify was a reasonable starting place.
So I think that I will quickly take you aside and we can discuss what that reveals to you, and then you can decide what that means. That's all right.
Sounds good.
All right, so please excuse us for just a couple of minutes. Be right back. All right, Samuel. You, I assume, ritually cast Identify on this pendant that he gave you, which you notice is a crystalline shard, glass-like, perhaps a garnet, a spinel of some kind. It is topped with a golden setting, and a loop of chain has been passed through that so that it may be worn as a necklace. The only other interesting thing about it, aside from that it very obviously hums with this divine magic, and there is a minor glow from within it, not enough to draw attention in daylight, but in the night it might look like a small ember. It appears to have a jagged end. It is a column, a faceted column of crystal that you might expect a jeweler would have ended in a point, but it seems jagged, as if broken, however, rounded soft, perhaps by time.
Mm-hmm.
Not sharp enough to hurt yourself on, but uneven enough to believe that that's probably not what it was crafted to look like.
Probably not intentional.
Yeah. You cast your spell, your ritual, and you are fed by the spell all of the information about it as a magic item. You come to understand that the person attuned to this is, when they activate it, it conjures the armor from another dimension onto them. You understand that its prerequisite to function is that it must be used in glorious combat, or else it will cease to work. And this all just confirms the things that you've been told and what you learned as when you retrieved it. So just to say, this isn't new information, that's just confirming what he said, the 500-year timer on it.
With Identify, can I see the timer? Just because Identify says it can tell how many charges something has, which it's a different thing, so I could see it not happening, but I'm just curious.
I think that it's fair to say that Identify lets you know that there is this requisite for functioning, but I think that you would need... Yeah, not how much time is left.
Okay, I think that makes sense. I was just curious.
You know that it is it also bears transmutation in that it empowers the person it wears physically. It makes them more skilled and powerful in combat, and you also know that it gives them immunity to thunder when it is attuned. I treated the other portions of it like a curse, in that Identify doesn't reveal curses.
Mm-hmm.
In that those final functions, the climax song and the crescendo, are secret until you find out about them personally by attuning it. So Identify does not reveal those to you. You do not sense any other kind of magic on this besides conjuration and transmutation and evocation. There's no necromancy. You don't get any sense that there is any sapient intelligence about it. It does seem to have a sentience to it, however. which might account for the times that Raiken seems to like talk to the armor. But there doesn't appear to be any person in there, which I know is something you were looking for.
Yeah, and I think I'll also be, after they identify, I'll be doing Detect Magic, which will probably just, that's, I assume that all that stuff is the two of those things combined.
Yeah, I mean, unless somebody has cast that spell upon it, the aura, that unless that has happened, this item appears mostly an open book to you. Like, it doesn't seem to be trying to conceal anything about itself, at least not on its face. Obviously, it does conceal the climax song and the crescendo, but everything else about it seems very straightforward. You get this feeling from your spells of a very upfront fighter. That this is like the epitome of a magic item for them. It is as face value as the person who would wield it.
Yeah.
But there doesn't seem to be any piece of soul. It does not appear to be functioning as a soul cage. And it does not respond to you in any human way as you perform these spells and spend this time with it.
Yeah.
As you are spending, roughly an hour with it, probably at least, you do feel the magic, like, reaching out to you, as though, because it's away from the person who had attuned it, it seems to be, like, reaching toward you to see if you will attune it. But, like, you can identify that just as a magic user. You understand that that's what that pull is. It's the pull of attunement.
Yeah, it's a very, it is very similar to, if it would be, it doesn't seem to be insidious in any way.
No, it doesn't seem to be insidious. It simply seems to wish to be used.
Yeah.
And in the absence of its previous user, you'll do.
You have a pulse. I think that I am going to cast Dispel Magic on it.
Okay.
In case somebody has cast Magic Aura.
Okay. Is that like a counterspell where you roll it to see if you can dispel higher than what you're casting at, or do you have to cast at a certain level?
It's just like counterspell.
Okay.
So
That's
it
good.
will it'll dispel any spell on the thing. I think starting from the lowest level to the highest level, and roll against each of them separately.
Okay. Then you may roll.
Okay. That is a 20.
A 20. So you successfully dispel up to a 10th level spell that may be affecting this thing. And you see and feel no effect. There seems to be no change in the schools of magic that your detect magic are telling you about.
Okay. I think that's probably all I want to do for now with it.
Okay.
So I will go and I guess putting it on Raiken would be disruptive to him. I'm going to put it next to him.
Okay. Anyway.
And then go and do other things.
Okay.
Like other normal, like, whatever the fuck it is I do
Nighttime
while
things.
everyone else sleeps.
Yeah. Read, double check,
Yeah.
think about the spells you want prepared. Decide not to change
Talk with
anything. Literally, talk to Ash. I mean, that's the explanation for your bonuses. So yes, talk to Ash. All right, then I will bop us back.
Cool.
Welcome back.
All right, so with the spells cast, and the people around you, Laramendus, drifting off or already asleep, you begin to quietly converse with Ash, and around an hour later into your conversations with the orb who has dimmed his light out such that only the symbol on his face that means illumination in celestial glows at you. You hear a wind gusting in the room, and you look around and you see that all the windows are closed. And when you look around the corner, you can see what looks to be a flurry of autumn leaves in a whirlwind over the bed in the corner. And after a moment of them twirling and dancing and clattering softly against the walls and sheets, the leaves burst into an ethereal flame. And what am I looking for? I'm like popping open menus. Here we go. You, get over here. Oof. And Leah and Laura Lee, wherever the hell she just went, reappear. So, poof. They reappear. Leah, you appear on the bed in Hunter Lodge. It seems to be the bed that you have slept in the last couple nights, and you notice that it is dark outside. You see the party members sleeping on the beds. I don't know if those are the same beds they've used in the past, but we're going to say, for roleplay's sake, they are the same beds they've used in the past. And you can see straight ahead of you kind of Laramendus's face poking around the side of the wall there.
Does the leaves that comes when someone stick around?
No, they burst into flames and disappear.
Okay, so I'm unaware of them.
Yeah. You probably saw, like, the orange light that their flames cast as you reappeared here, but then it would have died away.
Question, were the daytime in the Feywild?
Yes.
Okay, so it takes a moment, like... Oh wait, no, I forgot. Yeah, it's, you can see everything in darkness, regardless.
It's true.
I was about to say that she had to align her eyes, but I guess she doesn't.
But everyone's sleeping, so you can assume it's night. Oh, sorry.
Laramendus comes up to the corner there and says, "Oh, good, you're back. Are you okay?"
I'm fine. How long was I away?
I say the amount of time that I am aware of. I don't.
It was at least 13 hours.
Out of character, I can't remember.
It was at least 13 hours.
Okay.
Okay, it's not that bad, but I'm sorry. Don't want to wake the others.
I think that's a good idea, and we can talk about anything that happened that needs to be talked about from both sides in the morning.
Any of the
Rest
four,
well.
any of the four of you that wishes could roll your perception at -5. Hear and wake up as they're speaking to each other.
Like Leah is whispering, but I am not whispering because then my microphone wouldn't pick me up.
No, I understand. But it's still, he stayed at the corner, so he is speaking loudly enough for it to carry, so these 3 will be very able to hear it, all of them,
Yeah.
since they're closer to him than they are to you.
And Vendar will always be able to hear everything.
Oh yeah.
It's true. So yeah,
Yeah,
Vendar, you hear this happening.
That's the curse of having high perception.
If you don't want to roll the perception, you can be heavily sleeping, but if you would like to roll perception to see if you wake up and know that Leah has returned, you may.
-5.
-5 or disadvantage, they're effectively the same thing.
On -5, I got 11. Because I rolled a 5.
Jacob, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard from you. I mean, I think that just your passive is high enough to know that, you know, they're talking, even whispering, wakes you so that you know what's going on, but you don't have to engage with them if you want to just stay asleep.
Yep. I'll talk if I want to talk.
Okay. 11. Yuki or Raiken, or are you both deciding that you're conked out?
We're roll perception or using a passive?
If you use your passive, it's -5. If you roll it, it's disadvantage.
Oh, well, I want to say this would be passive because I'm out cold. So
Okay, passive -5. What is it?
5.
Nope. You're still asleep then.
Huzzah! Wow.
Would your passive -5 have been higher?
Yes, it would have been a 6. I rolled a 14 and a 1. So he is completely zonked out.
Yep. Okay. Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Very well then. You guys have that conversation. It sounds like. Oh, Jebel with 11. Yeah. You're aware, Jebel.
Okay.
If you want to say something, you may. If you don't have to.
Wait, which one's me?
This one over here. The one closest to. The one closest to Laramendus.
Okay, I raise my head. I look down. I see Leah. I go, "Oh, welcome back," and then I conk right out again.
Alright then. And if people are not wanting to do or say anything else, we can skip to morning.
Yeah, we'll try to get some rest.
Okay.
So since she's a little bit jet lagged, so we'll take some time.
Not like a morning kind of light? Yeah, I guess so. Look how much brighter it is. Alright. Morning! Everybody wake up.
A full rest.
Yes, everybody gets a long rest. Please long rest your characters.
Good. Good to heal those 4 hit points that I lost from that punch in the gut.
Right?
Maybe now you'll remember not to fuck with Faye.
No.
God damn it.
This is Raiken we're talking about.
Yeah, Raiken don't learn.
At 2, Leah. Boop. 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 Okay. Morning comes. You wake up naturally. The house is relatively quiet. Nobody comes knocking early and offering you breakfast. Yukikaze and Raiken, you notice that Leah is in her bed.
Leah, you're back. How did it
Yeah.
go?
Quite eventful, I guess. It's I got to meet some interesting people. Well, if you can call all of them people.
Oh, did Syntharmel have another party?
Yeah, pretty much.
I wouldn't be
Blood brains
surprised if
from
he
Rome
has.
into his face.
I wonder if he has parties all the time.
I'm surprised you didn't invite me again. Felt like I did quite well. I even entertained some of the guests.
I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah.
Also, here is your
Armor.
armor. I was looking for the word.
Thank you. Raiken will take the necklace and put it back on. Did you find anything out about it?
With my investigation last night, everything seems normal with it. I'll have to figure out what I can do to probe more deeply, but things seem safe enough.
I mean,
That's good.
with your arcane knowledge, whatever had happened could have been a one-time thing.
Yeah.
You know, like a glyph of warding kind of deal.
Yeah.
Raiken, I think little advice: you should refrain from entertaining his guests too much.
What? You can never entertain guests too much.
Faye, you can.
Lorelai's just gonna flutter over and sit on your shoulder, like placing a hand against the side of your face. Raiken, like, just be glad he didn't summon you again.
Yeah, this one was less fun and more strategic. Like pretty
No
much a meeting.
Ugh. That doesn't sound fun at all.
There was no fighting.
What?
None at all. You would have hated
No,
it.
just talking.
Ugh, talking. Ugh.
I
Not
just-
even the fun
Yeah.
talking, it sounds like. Not regaling stories and all that.
Well, not in a dangerous way, at least. I got to meet two warlocks.
Oh, that's nice. I'm glad you got to meet some people, make some friends.
Yeah, sounds like there's a possibility we might get some assistance when we get to the dragon fight.
Well, we already had that possibility.
Lorelai's just going to, like, tap the side of your face with her hand again and go, these were different warlocks from the ones you met.
Well, it's good.
Yeah,
Now, more people to help out.
Sintermal is getting friends.
The
That's
party
good to
that
hear.
the party that Raiken and I attended without you last time, Leah, was a meet and greet. These people who you met with this time, as I said, are from that party. Now that he has chosen to align himself with them, they have chosen one another. Before was more of a feeling things out. This was getting down to business.
That makes sense. I got the business part, but didn't realize they were all at the party last time.
Yes, they hadn't brought their warlocks, or at least they had brought different warlocks if they had. Anyway, It went well. Leah didn't do anything that would put her in danger from the Fae. Unlike someone I know.
I learned from his mistakes.
She just sort of like, you see her like turn toward Yukikaze's face, next to herself and go, well, at least we have that to thank him for. Good job, Raiken.
You know, yeah, you accidentally said Yukikaze first.
I said that right the
Raiken-
second time.
Yeah, you did say it right the second time.
I got a little confused as well.
Raiken is going to. He doesn't know how to exactly react to this because it's an underhanded compliment.
Yeah.
Like,
What? A Fae give a backhanded compliment? No.
You're welcome, I guess. Look, nothing bad happened when I went. I just can't remember a couple things, apparently.
Yeah, that's not bad at all, ever. Nobody ever died from losing memories.
No, I'm not dead yet.
Can that happen?
Aren't zombies pretty much that? A body with no brain? Still functioning?
Like, Lorelei opens her mouth to speak, and then she just sort of shrugs and goes, yeah, Raiken's a zombie.
I want brains, blah. And he starts
Alright.
like
I'm
kind of
gonna-
being like a zombie and moving towards
Leah.
I'm done
Yeah.
with this. I'm gonna go get breakfast.
I think that sounds great.
Your father is just moving towards you, arms outstretched, moaning.
She's laughing at him.
Lorelei just shakes her head and flutters after the others. Just don't lose your mind to him.
I won't.
There's little enough to go between you.
Oh my god! Wow!
Lorelei's throwing shade today.
As soon as food is mentioned, though, Raiken will be like, "Oh, yep, time for some bacon and sausage."
So are you just gonna turn and leave, or were you going to, like, pick Leah up as you were walking toward her, arms outstretched? I had it pictured in my mind, but tell me.
I think like as soon as like food is mentioned, like Raiken will have like grabbed Leah and like pretended to nom on her head, and then like all of a sudden he'd stop as soon as food happened and be like, "All right, let's go," and he'd just like pick her up on his shoulders and just start running down.
Okay. How do you feel about
well,
that, Leah?
I'm fine with it, but
Okay.
she will dodge whenever a beam comes close because Raiken is tall for this building.
He's tall. The building seems well constructed, and you're able to get down without braining yourself or getting brained. So, unusual as it is, the parlor is open today, and there are foods laid out, buffet style, so that people can enter and take as they desire. I assume you're just going to pile up all the meat, Raiken?
Of course, and eggs.
Ah, okay. Are you leaving any for anybody else, or are you just, like, picking up the whole plate, then, like, scooping some of the eggs onto it, and taking the serving carafe?
No, he'll take it. He'll take a plate just like everybody else, and just like it'll be like just under half of bacon, just under half of sausage, so that there could be a little egg.
Oh, okay.
I figured he'd take a plate, go up to the platter with the meat, take the platter with the meat, put the plate down, and put like a couple pieces from the platter onto the plate.
And then leave the plate in its place. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected too. And the servants that are in here are, like, eyeing you. It doesn't look like they have any interest in interposing themselves, but they are watching you, and they seem to be kind of expecting shenanigans. But you get your food. It is heaped high. And it looks like Laramentus went over here. Uh-oh. No!
Oh, I manually walk now. It's too annoying not to.
Fair enough.
Anyways, Ikaza's gonna get a reasonable looking platter. If I need seconds, I'll get up and get more. Oh wait, are we eating in the other room?
I dragged Raiken in here because Laramentus came in here.
I had assumed so.
There's more seating that has table space in here. This area is mostly a parlor for standing or sitting with, like, drinks or finger foods. It wasn't really set up as a place to sit and eat.
I'm also getting. I got 2 plates, but they're not piled. They look like 2 regular.
What? You want a bowl? Very well. Leo's making sure to grab no meats.
Yeah,
Same for
absolutely.
Jebel. And Vendar's getting food that he likes.
Yep.
Wait, but they love plants, and isn't that just plant meat?
Yeah, shouldn't he be strictly carnivore? He loves animals too. He only eats good berries.
Yeah, well, the party has decided you're not allowed to eat anything anymore.
Not at all.
You have
'Cause
to
that's how
eat
it
by wild shaping into some kind of plant creature to photosynthesize.
No, Jebel himself could just photosynthesize.
So as you all settle in and begin to eat your breakfast, Lady Kaylock is going to stride into the room. Looking as well-dressed as ever, perhaps a little more well-dressed even. And, from behind his chair, she's going to quickly throw her arms around Vendar's neck and give him a squeeze. Say, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have wonderful news.
Oh?
Yes, Empress Belgrin wishes to see you today, Vendar. She has sent summons as she needs to reinstate you as a noble of Aspara.
Oh, that's good news.
Yes. I was so worried. I knew it needed to start with your sister, of course, but now you'll have a signet and everything again.
Wow. I can't wait.
And she's just going to ruffle the hair on top of your head and place a kiss there before setting your hat back down and striding over to one of the chairs, simply looking happy. Flew away, didn't she?
No, she didn't. Oh yeah, she's up. my green thing is like such that I can still see her, but she's like a couple feet above the back of the chair.
Son of a...
Oh, now she's gone. Goodbye.
I love this program. I hate this program. Alright, there we go. She doesn't have anything further to say than that. You guys eat your breakfast. If you have anything to discuss with one another, now's a good time. If not, there will be some guards waiting to escort you to the Dawn Spire. Hashtag name drop. I finally decided what to call the tower.
Nice.
Nice.
I suppose while eating, Laura Mendes will give just the very briefest. Laura Mendes describes the spell to Leah that he learned with Nalia, which is he can give somebody a short rest.
Ooh.
It does exhaust him, though, so we will need to be careful about when this is used, but it should be very useful, especially for Leah.
I think you were also intending to flag Yukikaze on that.
For it being super useful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he gets all of his superiority dice back on a short
Right,
rest.
he does. Oh, he can go ham.
So, as we had discussed, you wanted to make that clear to both of them.
You know, Raiken also gets his channel divinity back.
It's true. Super useful for everybody, Lair.
Wink, wink.
Luckily,
you
know, when
it
there's
is
a
breath
full
weapon.
party, you are able to cast this thing 6 times. You can give one to everybody.
Wink, wink.
I mean, I suppose I would eventually be able to do that. You know, right now I can do it 1, 2, 3. I can do it
And-
4 times right now.
That's 4 levels of exhaustion just right there.
Yeah,
And he could get divine challenge back. Wink.
How much exhaustion? How exhausted before you just die?
6. Your
6.
6th level kills you.
Alright, 6. You just keep giving people short rests, then you just drop dead.
I
Then
mean,
Raiken
it is a
revives you.
6th level spell, so at 20th level, I can cast it 6 times.
Who would have done
And-
that on
And
purpose?
that's how he died.
And I would get an extra chance to roll a d6 to try to get Cord's lightning back. Wink.
And being able to spend hit dice for healing and all of that. So like even for the people who aren't getting their most useful abilities back in the short rest, Jebel gets his wild shape back,
Yep.
which
Both
is another
dots.
super useful one.
Oh, yeah.
So like, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to using it. I'm not looking forward to always having disadvantage on everything every day, but
You're gonna be so exhausted.
because that's the first level, right? It was
It
disadvantage.
was disadvantage on skill checks, yeah.
Right. How am I going to succeed in all of my Arcana checks if
I have
disadvantage?
no idea how you will ever succeed when on a 1 you roll like 22.
21, but
Oh. I was so far off.
anywho.
Is Yukikaze
so-
back yet? This is all really important for him.
Yeah.
Yes, he's back.
Okay. Lara Mendes just described his new spell that he learned from Nalia, which he can cast on a party member to give them a short rest in combat.
So you'll get your superiority dice back if I use it on you?
People who
Alright.
gain the benefit of a short rest can also use hit dice to heal, so it's technically a healing spell.
Yeah, if you're really fucked, you do that and then use all your hit dice.
Yeah.
You're toying with time travel. Dangerous things.
It's not time travel, it's energy transference.
It is exactly energy transference, which your transmutation wizard gave you.
Yeah.
So you're just taking the
Time travel is a
energy
different
and
thing.
changing its form.
Yeah, so that's Leah is updated on what Larmendis had been doing while Party had been doing other stuff.
Yeah, so What have you lot been doing? Like, what have you been up to while I've been gone?
You can ask your dad. He's the one who was in the shenanigans.
I'm very scared to ask.
No, Lorelei is staring daggers at him.
Well, no, he didn't get to that point. Wait, was there? Out of character, real quick. Did they say he had to pee on a leaf, right?
He had to pee on a stick.
No. Oh, he had to pee on a stick.
Yeah.
So back in character, let's say, there was gonna be peeing on a stick involved. I leave it at that.
You can't leave it at that.
Well, that's said you could ask him.
We made a bunch of flim friends.
Plums.
Yeah.
Those were the tiny things that look like worms, kind of like.
Kind of like floating pancakes with tentacles.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Like jellyfish.
I was gonna say like jellyfish.
Yeah, they're kind of like jellyfish. But we learned a lot from them.
I don't we gain exhaustion
Why? Like,
on D&D Beyond.
where?
Oh, it's a condition, Sam.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like,
Sorry.
why did you meet Flumps?
Well, you know that
Wait, was those the voice in the tree?
it came from that. That was the trap set by the necromancer. So Raiken just kept setting off the traps, and one of them summoned a bunch of flumps.
Lorelei's gonna go, he kept doing what?
Yeah, he just kept setting off the traps. It was very obviously a trap, and you just kept doing it.
Lorelei is just
They were-
glaring at you, Raiken.
Oh,
They were
was
terrible traps. They didn't do anything other than bring floops.
Lorelei, you can't be
it's-
surprised at all. This is coming from the guy that sold his or gave his memories away.
She's just going to turn
You don't
her.
need to be surprised to be disappointed.
She's going to turn her
That's
glare
right.
at you, Yukigase, and she's going to point at both of her eyes with her fingers, and then she's going to point at you with a severe look on her face. She's like, "You know what this means, right?"
I'm going back to eating.
That traps don't work against me?
None of the traps did work against him. He just took it all, and it didn't do anything. He was too strong.
He was lucky. Those are different.
Yeah.
Luck has a
Yeah, very
tendency
much
to
so.
run out.
We got real lucky because like the third trap spawned a bunch of flumps, and and you know we knew that they weren't bad, so instead of fighting them, we talked to them, and we learned a lot.
Was that the third trap or the second trap? That
I
was
think it
the
was the
second
third.
trap. Because wasn't the
No.
third trap the one that they had to pee on the stick?
It was technically the third, and the stick was the fourth if you count the body
Oh.
itself being the first trap.
Okay.
Why did you have to pee on the stick?
It said to pee on the stick.
Yeah, at that point, everybody thought he was being pretty stupid. Especially after we had already learned so much from the flumps. He then decided to still pee on the stick.
No, that was before we learned everything from the flumps.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't think it was.
I think
I
that
don't
was
think it
when
was.
I think that was still when they like were we hadn't talked to them enough, so they weren't like giving that great of information still.
No, I think because you were communicating at the speed of thought, so you had the big long conversation, which took like 2 minutes real time, and that's when the last trap activated, and the party was kind of like leaving. Like they're like, I think we've got everything we need. Let's leave, and you're like, hold on.
Let me pee on the stick. The voice
That's
told me to.
But that's a penis.
Yeah, that's where that came from.
Oh.
It didn't do anything. I'm fine.
Yeah, he got lucky. So so then we brought the Fumps back here.
Yeah?
Yeah, and right now they're at the Temple of Arathis, helping out there and growing and learning and shit. But we learned a lot of info from them about the Necromancer.
Oh, such as?
Do you remember that Necromancer that stole our cart, that we went and found, that we killed, that then Sitharis ate? Yeah, he's back. He's back, and he's a lich now.
How?
You don't know, but he's a lich, so. That book he stole had a lot of info about how to contact Orcus and shit, so we probably use
Have you
that to.
what was the dragon's name again?
Selthar.
Seltharis?
We have not contacted Siltharis yet, but we probably should send to her.
Why wasn't that the first thing you did?
Well, we didn't have anybody who could send. All our magic users disappeared.
Disappeared?
It's true!
You went off.
You went poof.
Cyrus got pulled away into the ether. You went poof
Yep.
from from the Tharamil, and Lair was off with Noya. It was just
Literally-
us no-mages. None of us could cast anything except for
Literally,
Raiken's the only caster, and he can't do shit.
Wow.
all three of you
Jebel can
proved
cast magic.
3 different things.
No, I'm
3
just-
different ways.
And there's Jebel too, I guess. Yeah, you're right. Jebel's a caster. But
I
he can't send.
guess.
Yeah, like Jebel's just sit there like going like,
Yeah.
Jebel
I
is just
forgot.
continuing to eat his
We have
meal
so
while they
many
completely
casters.
ignore him.
But Jebel
We
can
had
send.
no
I mean, I don't
spellcasters
think
like, oh yeah, no you didn't.
Can they? Jebel, can you send?
no.
Oh, okay, well then.
And also,
I mean, I can't either, so me being away didn't matter for that matter.
Jebel hadn't spoken with Seltharis. Back with the Necromancer,
Oh, that's true.
which
Oh,
would have
yeah,
made sending
still
much more
burner.
difficult anyway.
And I can't send. I can only scry.
But you know,
We can
our
do that
main
too.
sender was gone, and then we also didn't even have like Cyrus's sending stone because he took it with him when he disappeared.
But what do we hope to inquire with Seltharis about? Whether she had a bout of indigestion, or
Did she poop him out?
I mean, I would imagine
First of
that
all, if she's
did pass
alive.
through her at some point.
Ew. I'm more concerned about her well-being.
And that should be as easy to capture again, but also the whole capturing her and killing her might have been part of the becoming a lich.
Oh, so you say that he might have already...
Yeah, he
Done
might.
what it-
Yeah,
okay.
it
So
doesn't
once he
need
died,
anything
he
after
just
again.
reappears elsewhere, right? So isn't that like where his
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
is?
His phylactery, I think it's called, right?
Soul cage.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
So yeah, he's alive somewhere, and we probably gotta kill him. But he attacked the city specifically because he was wanted to kill us, or at least he specifically was want. He was thinking of us.
With
He
this
was
being the
angry at
city-
us, you mean?
Yes, like he's was revenge for us. He seemed to really want revenge against us.
They're saying that this attack on the city and all the dead is all because of us.
He did seem to target Everwatch because of us, but if it wasn't Overwatch, it would have been somewhere else. At least him targeting us meant we were here to stop it. But it also might mean that he'll attack us again.
With the undead that he was creating, I doubt that the sole goal that he desired was our end. I think it would have just been a happy coincidence
Happy?
for him. Two birds, one zombie army, all that.
Yes.
I do think that contacting Christopher is a higher priority than contacting Seltharis, other than
Oh yeah,
making sure that she is still alive.
yes, contact Christopher just... Oh, by the way, your grandfather is back and he's a lich now.
Yeah,
Could
we
Just
might.
tell him.
I have my concerns about
can-
the box that Christopher took with him, so Christopher might be well aware.
Wait,
Yeah,
Blindrendis, do you remember everything that we were able to do with the armband? Because I still have that.
Everything we were able to do.
I think he means the
armband.
chain.
Chain?
The one
No,
you could-
You mean the chain that was around Seltharis?
No, there was, Siltharis gave us an item to call upon her.
Oh, I think that we can send to her. We
No.
don't need to use that.
No, but like, you know, you guys and your magic stuff. If it's Siltharis' magic, would it still be present? Would it disappear if she was gone?
It depends on how it was created.
Well, okay. That was just a thought.
I like that thought.
It's a reasonable thought.
Don't feed the DM.
I can. I mean, I don't think I've identified the thing. I can do so, and we can see if that gives any insight into that. If this is more closely tied, so that we can use it having power as a gauge for Seltharis's health, not necessarily, but life.
Yeah. Well, it was just a quick thought in the conversation. We probably go into it a little bit more later.
I think that is a entirely reasonable thing for us to do when we have a bit more time. Because this conversation is happening after Lady Kalak had said her thing about the summons.
Yes.
Okay,
But she
yeah.
didn't seem to be rushing you out of the house. I have just informed you that you can talk now, as you're at breakfast, and then go, or if you have nothing to say, you can go. They will be ready to take you. But you don't have to, like, rush through, like, the discussion's
Yeah.
important. You don't have to rush through it on their account. They would jump in here and grab you if they needed you that badly.
If we were going to be late.
In that case, could you hand me the bracer, and I'll identify that now. That way we have an answer.
I don't have it on me right this second. I came down for breakfast. I'll go get it.
No, that's fine. We can do it after we come back from the bout.
Okay. Well, I gotta go get my stuff. Yeah, I gotta get my stuff before we leave, anyways. But yeah, it's upstairs at the moment.
Vandar, did you have anything in particular you wanted us to ask Christopher, or should I construct a more general update and inquiry to him?
I want to know if he's okay and what's going on. I'm assuming he might probably already know about his grandpa. because the box and stuff. But if he doesn't, then he needs to know.
The box might not be the soul cage.
Yeah, I guess send to him, and his response might determine whether we want to try to do more. But I'll update him about his grandpa and just make sure that he's all right. I guess.
Leah, is there anything you need to share about what happened in the Feywild?
Hold on, let me check the notes.
While you are looking at your notes, the sending that I have here is: Are you well? Learned your grandfather, now Lich, attacked Everwatch with powerful zombie army. Must remove curse wounded. Concerns about box you took with you. Is there anything that we want added? That is 25 words. Is there anything we want added that I can try and cut words from it to also include in there?
I can't think of anything.
Everyone else good with this? At least as a first. It's possible we'll do some more sendings, but
He's back!
who's back?
Sending man.
Oh, it's true. I didn't use my 9th level spell to first cast sending. Boom.
And the world is worse for it. Don't happily remind me of my greatest failing.
Okay, I have posted it in the Discord channel so that it is the record of the
Alrighty.
sending. But I cast spending my third level spell slot.
I will pin that, and then I will respond to it.
I was glad I was able to include the must remove curse wounded, because not sure that he's in contact with those zombies, but like more people that know.
Okay, so what I can say is Raiken present. Everyone is present, right?
Yup.
Yeah, good. So Raiken, I don't know how well you remember the party. So since these three were there, since I'm at a meeting with 3 other archfays, am I allowed to mention their names? Tristan,
I'm sorry, one more time.
am I allowed to mention their names to the party? Like, I don't know how much.
Oh, I mean, they didn't
Sintermos
restrict
giving
you
permission.
from doing any of that.
Okay, in that case. So, Sintermos were having a meeting with Marquis, Marcus,
Marquis.
Marquis, Villurius.
You could also say Marquis, yes.
Yeah. Baron Everus Icar and Viscountess Silvervein Eventress. She's checking her diary when she says their names. She had written them down. Because there's no way she would remember these names just by memory. And the 2 warlocks. Jesk and Arvel. They were mostly discussing like Sintermos' position in the Feywild and how to run his domain, stuff like that. But problems we are dealing with, it came up once or twice, mostly with the warlocks. It seems
you
a
have-
concern, but not as much so as his domain at the moment.
Who were the 2 warlocks again?
Jesk, was it?
Jesk and Arvil.
Jesk and Arvel. Yeah.
Mm.
Do you have some way of contacting them if necessary for assistance in future endeavors, or
Prison would have given me a way, or would I just need to go by my regular Warlock ways?
They did not give you a specific way to contact them. Arvil was the only one who said they might see you again, and it was entirely circumstantial.
Yeah. Then I will say that. If I wanted to contact them, though, since since I got acquaintance with them, I could always try Dream. Granted, yeah, I don't. If is Dream same plane or different planes?
I didn't know offhand.
It must be in the same plane. Okay, yeah. So I could always try Dream on them as long as they're in the material plane. But other than that, no.
I can also attempt to I can send for you if we have any strong need for that.
You can do that without having met them.
It requires expending higher level spell slots. Out of character, we had established some additional rules for sending to allow it to become more useful with higher level spell slots. And at certain levels, that started to become being able to send to people who you are not immediately familiar with, and things of that nature. So,
Gotcha.
this was like 2-3 months ago or something like that we actually talked about this stuff last, I think. So,
So,
entirely
very
reasonable.
recent in game time.
Yeah.
I think in game it was when I sent to Vendar's brother.
Yes.
So yeah, like 2 days ago in game, but too long ago in real life.
Very recent.
Gotcha.
So he answers yes, he can send to somebody he hasn't met.
Yeah. Well, if we ever find a need, but it's I don't really see it necessary, at least not yet.
I agree.
They're more like the more just helping their patrons, which in return are like partnering up and assisting Saint Armel in their own rights. Not really directly connected to me and our cause. So Arvel thinks it's likely their patron will be sending warlocks, so it might be them, it might not. Arvel talked to me a lot about other things, like regarding gender and that kind of stuff. She kind of like moves a strand of hair over her ear as saying that, looking away shyly.
All eyes are on Raiken.
My bad. I don't actually know what like everything's being said.
Wow. Your daughter just said that she was discussing gender and other things like that bashfully with someone that she met in the Feywild.
I mean, that vague of something that could go right over Raiken's head anyways.
Oh my god. Well, Lorelai's still like staring at you, like waiting to see what the reaction is.
What? Gender stuff? I don't see any harm in that.
Just gonna tip her head to one side, closing her eyes, go,
Anyway, yeah. So that was my evening pretty much. You would have found it very boring. It sounds
Probably.
like you
They're
were up
still
to
fighting.
eventful stuff with flumps.
Well, I mean, there was no fighting with the flips either, and the traps didn't work. So, meh.
We've fought flumps before, anyway.
Yeah, they didn't provide much of a challenge.
Alright. If there's not else to tell, and nobody has further questions for Leah,
I think everyone's up to date. Lara Mendes is content with things as they are.
I think he's just content nobody's asking him anything.
He shared what needed to be shared.
Uh-huh.
Did you finish Christopher sending? Actually,
I did indeed.
oh.
I was waiting to send it because I didn't want it to become a distraction during Leah's scene.
So I guess not long after Lara Mendes cast sending, he has an expression on his face that is not a good one.
That bad?
Yes. I'll just repeat it verbatim. Am not well aware Jewelry Box was the Soul Cage, so I guess that would explain why he never had time to get to Nalia. It would have, he might have come back before he was able to bring it to her. I am with him. Bait. Do not pursue. Seeks only to torment you. Won't kill me. So, there we have
So-
that.
We gotta get him.
He has asked us not to do that.
Yeah, but we just can't let him.
No.
Rampant.
But we can perhaps help other people with their search for him. How much of everything that we know does the Temple of the Raven Queen know?
Was that directed at me?
That was directed at Vendar.
And, okay.
But we were at the Temple of the Raven Queen when we learned that he was a lich. So they know there's a lich. And they know who he is. But not much more than that. Well, and that he was responsible for the attack on the city.
Perhaps we can send to him again to see if there's anything that he could share with us to share with the Temple of the Raven Queen here to assist them. I think that if he doesn't want us to go there, then we probably shouldn't. My concern, honestly, would be him doing things to Christopher to get that short of death, to bother us, since he would know that we're at least friendly with him. So us being the ones that pursue him might be dangerous to Christopher's health.
Did Jebel meet Christopher? Is he around?
I don't believe so, because we left Christopher at in Thanandir at the keep, as we went our separate ways there, and that was before Jeppel. You would be aware of him because we've talked about him a couple times. Did you have something more you were wanting to say there, Jeppel?
I was just going to ask if you're sending it out. How much? What's his face? The Lich knows about the current makeup of the party.
I can ask.
Because if you are going to pursue him, element of surprise and all that.
So I'm going to construct another sending,
Okay.
um, basically for the rest of the party, basically asking anything that he can share with us to be passed on to the Temple of the Raven Queen to aid their investigation. Ask if who the grandfather seems to think is with us, and do I confirm to him that we will not pursue this per his request, or do I leave that unstated?
I still feel like we should go after him. It feels wrong to just leave him.
Yeah, but when it's a trap, we shouldn't just walk straight into it.
I will not uh, I will not assure him that we'll listen to what he says about not going, and we can see what he says to the other things, and if that can provide any more insight.
Okay.
Voice in the sky.
Yes.
Is there a place that would have a more significant presence of the Temple of the Raven Queen than Everwatch?
I mean, if you want to go by volume, like by volume relative to the city itself, the one west of Elazon, it was one of 2 temples.
I mean, so basically, like, if we're going to, I guess I'm asking because if we can inform a larger temple about, hey, we have news about this lich in this area doing these things, that might be relevant to their interests. So I'm asking.
This is a
just for
major
the purposes
city.
of-
This is a super major city, and the Raven Queen is in their primary pantheon, as it's got one of the larger temples here. The only place you've been in recent memory that has a larger by scale temple is Volinar. But I will call you back to when Vendar was telling you about this, and he said we had these questions answered in the Temple of the Raven Queen. The clergy here is aware.
Yeah, cool. That was what I was hoping for.
Yeah. But yes, the town that only had the 2 temples, one of which was a Temple of the Raven Queen, was Rilan.
I have unfortunate anything to pass on to Everwatch Temple aid their work. Who Wilderness thinks our associates. Which are the 2 bits of information that we wanted. Is there anything else that we want to convey, or anything else that we can ask? I will say, I can send again for longer answer if he's concerned about the words, to let him know that I have the spell slots to keep this up if he needs to continue telling us things. Which now brings us up to 23 words, so I can try and cut things down a little bit if I had cut you off, Vendar. You'd been saying something to answer my question.
Can you just ask where he's at? He knows where he's at.
Sure. So, unfortunate. Where? Anything to pass on to Everwatch Temple, aid their work. Who Elvernus thinks our associates. I'm at 22 words. Anything else that I guess I can make where more clear, but it's probably clear enough.
Okay.
Okay. I will copy that over. Love sending so much. Mark another 3rd level spell.
Yep.
Huh. What? I suppose we never would have thought to try that. Um, I look at the state of everyone's breakfast.
Oh no.
What is the state of everyone's breakfast?
They've all consumed their breakfast by now.
Excellent. I will again just repeat verbatim. Somewhere hot and damp. Tell them to save their feces. Month-old feces is the only weakness of his new zombies. Don't worry about me.
What?
What?
He wants us to store our poop?
I think he it's more meaning the temple as a means of dealing with the zombies should they attack again.
Why poop?
I'm wondering what the chances of interference in ascending are.
Maybe. Well, that seems.
I'm going to roll. I would like to roll Arcana.
Okay. You can roll again.
I'm fucking.
You're not exhausted yet. What are you doing?
Rolling poorly. I'm spending my inspiration. Yeah, spending inspiration.
I would like it put in the
Fuck you.
record that Sam has spent his inspiration to roll about poop.
It's a roll about sending.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what I said.
It's a 29.
Involving poop.
So, basically, I'm trying to think of ways that somebody could. My concern is that Alvernus intercepting the sending and responding basically as a fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would be extremely amusing to do. To be like, I'm going to make this city like collect their shit. And just like store it
You
so that they try and do something with it.
you only met this man once, and at that time, what you know was that he was a powerful wizard, but he was alone, so he was defeated by the overwhelming strength of the party. You know that the thing that he cared about in that fight was preventing ranged attacks from hitting him so that he could monologue, and you know that when you met the party and they told you about this guy, his claim to fame was impersonating a cleric of the Raven Queen and stealing their cart. So, I will grant that from what you know and your extraordinary intelligence, this is a man who enjoys nothing more than fucking with people. You also know that being a lich already, he is a high-level spellcaster, and as you have already proven, you can create your own spells at that point. It seems very likely that he has either created a spell or has possession of a magic item that is letting him do exactly what you suggest.
Okay, cool.
That's unfortunate. Do we think the first message was actually Christopher?
I would think that unlikely if he's going to be intercepting anything anyway. Why would he let anything get through? Which means our best bet for Christopher's health is to commune to see and hope that that would not be intercepted. But commune is a divination spell, and there are other spells for preventing divination spells from being able to see what's going on in areas. So, a grain of salt.
Do you think he can intercept with scrying? Like, not on him, but on someone else.
What about Ash's thing?
And Mordenkainen's private sanctum can prevent scrying sensors from being created. So we could attempt to scry on Christopher. There's not much harm in it.
I'm sorry, I meant to also include all of the dumbass traps you heard about earlier in this conversation in that body of knowledge that Lara Mendes has about this person.
I mean, so like that, it's the traps that really made me be like, that seems like a thing that is probably in that kind of vein, which is why I asked.
Yeah. No, it was a good question. And I could sit here and lie, but honestly, it was such a good lead. Oh, like, nah. You go, brother. I really did wonder if you were gonna run off and tell the temples to start doing this, because it was gonna be amazing.
Alright, your poop. Hold on to it.
Store it somewhere. You're gonna get a sending like a month from now. Then I'm like, okay, so those zombies came back and we used our poop. Yeah, no, it didn't fucking work at all. What the fuck?
They got bigger?
It smells like shit.
There's no shit zombies all over the town.
Now people are getting infected if they don't get infected. Like, everyone's dying whether or not they fall off.
We had to come up with a new name for it. Hepatitis.
Or the bags of poop just become a giant poop monster.
The poop monster.
Didn't work. What the fuck?
But we can attempt to spry on Christopher. That's, I believe, more immediate than attempting to commune. I would, were I Alvernus, I would, and were Christopher still alive, I would have him within a Mordenkainen's private sanctum. If I had him on this plane. And I would probably spend most of my time within one, honestly. The area that it creates is not huge, and in order to make it permanent, one must cast it on the same spot. I think it's for a year. Let me just double check.
Yeah, I think it's, every day for a year in order to make it permanent? Yeah.
So if he was trying to settle down and make a specific place have more of that now, then he'd be using up a decent amount of spell slots to do it. But it's also possible he was not a young man, and if I was going to be clever and also old when becoming a lich, I might have a base of operations different from where I'm performing some rituals in order to gain my power, so that if anything happened, I still have my base of operations safe to return to, and that could very easily already have been prepped with the appropriate spells. So now the other question, do I reply to him in a manner that makes him believe that we have fallen for it? Because I think we should.
Let's do it.
Yeah, why not?
The other 3 people in the party?
I would say you gotta make sure I'm okay with it, but make sure you don't sound too convinced that it'll work, so he doesn't believe our response.
Agreed.
Jim?
At least he's also being consistent about Sudaran.
Man knows what he's about.
Yeah, the consistency is important. If you're gonna commit to the bit,
Got any thoughts about whether Lara should respond as though he has believed these words came truthfully from Christopher, or if he should play the hand that he has figured something out?
Oh,
I figure he probably knows that you've worked it out. His statement was so ridiculous. He's just taking the piss at this point. It's overconfidence.
that's also fair. I mean, he doesn't necessarily know much about our group. He can think us all fools. He probably does. Which means he might be more inclined to believe that we fell for something.
He probably really, really wants people to save their feces. Alright. The people have weighed in, Sam. What will Lara Mendes do?
I think I can use my last third level spell slot.
He's back!
I'd say pretend that you've fallen for it anyway.
Oh, okay. Now, everyone has weighed in and they're unanimous.
Unanimi.
Okay. Understood. Certainly a weakness that would be difficult to guess. Will pass along. Good luck. Any other inputs?
How many words is that?
That's 15.
10 left.
You try spreading misinformation of our own.
Then shall we say already pointed temple towards Sudaran? Or hot and damp confirms Sudaran for us, or not confirm, but gives credence
Suggest.
to Sudaran.
Suggest Sudar?
Yes.
Single word better.
That's 5 words.
Me.
So I'm saying hot and damp suggests Sudaran like mouth, which brings me to 22. To also say that that's been we're giving credence to the magic mouth that had been encountered as well. Make him think that we're even more foolish.
I agree with that.
Do it.
Yeah, we gotta just be careful that we don't say something we wouldn't usually say, so that we throw them all. Or yeah, you know what I mean. I'm full.
Okay. So I now have understood, certainly a weakness that would be difficult to guess. Hot and damp suggests Sudaran, like mouth, will pass all along. Good luck.
Is that the full 25?
That's 23.
Talk soon. Or anything else?
Ah, I like that.
Put the onus on him.
Okay. I'm saying sending to Christopher?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll put the question in parentheses. I will say, if he's intercepting these sendings to Christopher, then that does. I'm saying this is to the party.
Oh.
Then that does imply to me that either Christopher is actually with him, or perhaps just his soul. Although I don't know that I would be able to send to a disembodied soul, so I believe more strongly that he is alive and there.
Well, I figured something like that too. I mean, could you intercept a sending sent to someone who was nowhere near you?
Could I?
If you could, I just used the word. Intercept. If you could intercept a sending, do you think you would be able to intercept a sending sent to someone in like a
I missed the last word.
city?
I think the phrase was completely different.
Completely different city.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that given enough time, I might be able to come up with an item that I could give to somebody that would perhaps allow any sendings to them to be diverted to me, no matter where they were. Possibly. It would be an interesting problem. But if it's a magic item, then it would. It would likely need to be cursed so that somebody couldn't get rid of it. But for a sufficiently high-level cleric, removing a cursed item is a trivial matter. Or becoming unattuned to a cursed item is a trivial matter. Assuming that they know that they are in possession of it, and it's attuned. I suppose if it's a thing that is not attuned, is more likely that they might not have gotten rid of it, but you're always going to run that risk. The easier thing to do would be, or the easier thing in my mind to do would be to devise some spell or perhaps an item that would be anything that any sendings that come that target anyone within the area are diverted through presumably the caster, or somebody attuned to the item, somebody holding the item, depending on what it is that is doing this. I feel like that is the easier thing to do, but I suppose it might be. I could see a situation where I was able to create an item like that, or where maybe not me, where a sufficiently skilled artificer was able to create an item like the first thing I had mentioned.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Things have struck Laramendus via Discord DMs. As if a voice from the sky spoke to him. But if I was sufficiently devious in designing a cursed item, such that I could make it impossible for somebody to understand that it was cursed, then they would not remove it themselves, and it would be unlikely that anyone else would. So why would somebody have reason to think that the thing is cursed and forcibly remove curse on the object? So I suppose a scrying on Christopher is a good way to try and gauge if he has some item like that. Although, honestly, if I was creating an item like that, I would also put some other types of non-detection on it, such that scrying wouldn't work. These are the things that have come from come to mind with asking Laramendes to devise a devious mechanism for doing this.
Are you happy you've learned all this now, Vendar? Are you going to read off the response to him?
Right, I did not do that. The response from the last sending. Good, I knew I could count on you. Tell Vandar I'm sorry. I hoped we'd meet again. I hope he's still on a good path.
I can't remember. What's the Lich's name again?
Alvernus.
Alvernus.
Oh.
So once he says that, I'll say, like, does that sound like Christopher or Alvernus? Both. Either.
So I guess question for the DM. Technically, when you send to someone and they know you, they know it's you. That doesn't say anything about the reverse.
Yeah. It does.
Per the spell.
It's interesting how it doesn't, isn't it?
I mean, but like,
almost
that's because you target a creature.
One might say.
But like, I mean, like, I think it's because you target a creature that is known to you, so like you know who you are targeting. So I suppose
if it is as you have supposed, this is an incredibly devious thing he came up with.
Yeah.
But as far as you can tell, the spell is functioning as intended.
So to Jebel, the sending the responses, other than the tone, other than the way in which he is speaking, like the words that he is using, everything seems normal. If it was not for, if he was saying other things, I would be unsurprised that this was Christopher.
No, it's just strange. That first response, fine. Second response, weird. Third response, fine.
I don't know what else he would have been able to say in the third response to make things weird, or why he would say things to make things weird for the third questions. That most of that sending was just us confirming things for him. So the response honestly isn't particularly even necessary. It only saying understood, received, whatever. But you're thinking that the sendings are making their way to Christopher. The response from Christopher is being intercepted and modified and then sent back to us, so he can choose whether or not to allow Christopher to respond as himself, depending on what information he wants to modify.
That wasn't what I was thinking, but I'm glad that my question led you to that. Because that makes sense. Because that last one, just how much would he known about your relationship with Christopher, or Christopher's relationship with Bendar in particular, to actually answer that himself? I was wondering if he was saying things that would make sense to you because you met Christopher and these were based on previous conversations. How would he know that? Where would he be getting that knowledge from? But if it is, as you have suggested, that he is intercepting the returns, then yeah, that makes sense.
There's also, if the box was indeed the soul cage, then he would have been near Christopher at some point, and if this is a magic item, he would have needed to get it to him in the first place and get him to attune it, likely forcefully, but he would have needed to be near him or one of his associates. And then there's plenty of things that one could do. Detect thoughts, just a discussion to figure things out like that. But I don't think we could say for certain what the manner of this spell is like, or this magic item is like, or if he gained information via other means and is wholly taking over all the sendings. I suppose that Christopher might get suspicious if he could never receive a sending, but most people never receive sendings. So I don't think I honestly, if it completely prevents him from getting them, they just get completely intercepted, then I don't think most people would be alarmed by this. But it would certainly be more insidious and interesting, magically. Lerman is thinking about things.
When you should worry about magic. A wizard called it interesting.
Kept asking whether or not he could. He is fairly familiar with the sending spell at this point. The intricacies of it. But yes. We would have to attempt to get some answers via other means, and I would be concerned. I suppose if we use Commune, for example, the best uses of it would probably be things closer to when Alvernus came back than what's going on with Christopher now, depending on the nature of this interception and its effects on divination magic. I'm not sure that I would trust a commune that is getting information about Christopher as he stands now. I would hope that the answers would be unclear as opposed to misleading, in that I would hope that we would, if we ask commune, is Christopher within the borders of within the borders of Sudaran, which we are fairly confident he is not, then if there is a answer of yes, then we would likely want to consider other avenues. I imagine fooling a commune spell or divination, the kinds of divine spells for things of this nature, would be much more difficult to include within this spell or this magic item, as opposed to just obfuscating them a little bit. But with enough time and resources and sufficient magic, many things are possible. My main hope out of this conversation, Voice in the Sky, is that I gave you some ideas to build into whatever the fuck was going on here.
I mean, yes, they're all good points. I have already thought it through quite a bit, but it's all helpful, so.
Yeah.
There's no reason that to believe that I can't alter it up until the moment you get to find out what's going on. But I'm most pleased that such critical thought has been put into it. I wasn't sure if I was going to get away with murder here. Which was going to be amazing. But I'm not sad. It's so good.
I do think that there are enough open questions here that we probably should devote at least a little bit of time to try to answer them before... pretty much, Jebel, pretty much. We don't want those odds to look too in our favor. That there are enough open questions here that I think we need more answers to before we decide to fully abandon the investigation to the Temple of the Raven Queen. Although we can, of course, go and speak with them and let them know our concerns about these sendings. Out of care, sending is also clerics of sending, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Clerics also have access.
I thought I was remembering that correctly. One of them might attempt to send to Christopher and get similar kinds of issues.
You certainly wouldn't want to warn them.
Down a bad path.
Well, I hope this has given all of you a lot to think about that you didn't want to have to think about.
This is why wizards can't be trusted with magic.
Better just get rid of them all.
That was out of character. Laura Mendes did not say that wizards should not be trusted with magic.
Then, if you have sorted through all the things you currently want to postulate and are happy to pursue this after your apparent appointment, then we can skip on and take care of that with the last half hour.
Yeah.
I think that seems reasonable.
Sounds good.
Yeet.
Alright, then. With that dire and unfortunate news, Lady Kaylock will kind of check a water clock nearby and say, "Dear, I know that you have a great many things to discuss, but it isn't terribly wise to keep the Empress waiting too long."
Yes, sorry. Just get going. Lost track of enough time already.
It's been like 2 hours.
Oops.
And as you head for the door here, she will say, "Do you think perhaps you should put on your nice clothes for the occasion?"
I could do that. I should do that. Yeah. I go change into.
There's a set from not too long ago upstairs if you haven't still got one with you.
A little change into the set.
Alrighty. Then, having changed, does anybody else possess on their person noble's clothes?
Negative. But I'll look at Vendar and be like, "You don't quite look right in that, though. You see your usual get up."
Laramendus does. Because Nalia made him buy them ages ago.
It's true, I remember that.
He will go and change into that.
Okay.
Leah will pick something fashionable.
Alright then.
She has a plethora of nice dresses and such.
I do believe that is very interesting. True. Then, those that can, spend a few minutes.
I do have fine clothes, yes.
Oh, well, there you go. Those that can, spend a few minutes heading up to the room and changing. Those that can't, don't. And then you head out the front door, where you find guards wearing the colors of Everwatch awaiting you. They will lead you, as yesterday, these are not the same guards by name, to the Dawn Spire, the Tower of Everwatch. And you are led up, and up, and up, and up, past the floor and rooms where you generally sit audience with Lilith Draknir, to the top of the Dawn Spire, where you find that there is a large door separating a hallway with a few other smaller rooms off of it from an opulent throne room that has a glass domed ceiling through which the sun of midday shines down brightly, or late morning, let's call it. And at the other end of perhaps 60 feet of plush red carpet stands a large throne wrought in what appears to be gold, cushioned, upholstered beautifully, and somehow comfortable looking despite its otherwise rigid and statuesque appearance. And within this large throne, most of you, those who have been here before, recognize the equally statuesque woman who sits, looking aged, older still than Vendar's own mother. You are face to face with Empress Katerina Belgrin, for I think the third time in the lives of those among the party who have met her at all.
Leah shrinks a little bit. Suddenly reminded that she found her scary, and still does.
I am pleased that you recall that, because that was something I was still banking on. The woman rises from the throne as you approach, clad in a long, flowing, bluish-purple dress. There is a plethora of jewelry hanging from her body. She appears to be beyond middle years, heading down into the weakness of older age. But in spite of the thinner appearance of her body, she exudes an aura of strength, of immobility, of indomitability. And she looks upon the group, her eyes scanning over each of your faces in turn, before she clasps her hands before her, and you can see on her somewhat narrow fingers with their knobbly knuckles a multitude of finely crafted rings with a rainbow of stones set in them that click as she closes one hand over the other as the bands rub against one another. She says in a voice that seems like it would creak if it didn't have so much respect for the person from whom it exudes. It emits. She says, "Ah, yes, I remember some of you. Others are new faces. And I hear that you are no longer the Order of the Sacred Flame. Is that correct?"
We've taken to calling ourselves the Voice of Change.
She nods somewhat solemnly, closing her eyes momentarily during the motion for opening them again and centering them on you, Vendar. Says, "I think it is an apt name given the stories that come to us from our sister and even our enemy nations. You have spent a great deal of time back in Bromdor, I hear."
We have had many dealings there since negotiating the armistice.
Yes. And it is true that Sivin is dead.
Yes, he was killed, and the throne is now being what's the right word?
Held, you could say, temporarily adjudicated. Or you could simply say sat.
The currently a woman named Claire, who is an ally of ours and was a member of the Mages Guild, is currently the one running Ramdor.
I have had occasion to communicate with Claire, making sure that the peace between Aspara and Bramdor will be maintained with her taking the helm there, as they say. You understand that it is impossible for a member of the Mages Guild to command a nation.
Yes, I'm not entirely sure what that means for her, whether she's leaving the Mages Guild or if she will pass on to the leadership to somebody else.
She will have renounced any title within their order if she does not wish to get them into a war none of us wishes to fight.
I know she has not been working with the Mages Guild, so...
That, she says, holding up a somewhat bony hand, is perhaps a matter for other days and other minds. Yours and the hands attached to them are perhaps better suited to action. Is that not correct, Mr. Draknir?
That is certainly what I'm more inclined for.
I have spoken with Lilith. She's told me that you have proven yourself, that you have made up for this lapse in judgment which resulted in your excommunication.
Yes, I've worked hard to try to make up for all of the issues that arose from my decisions.
Well, do not think me too cruel when I tell you that I am unused to people such as yourself changing. But I do respect it and the journey that you have gone on for that. So, do with that as you will, be it praise or otherwise. What we are here today to do is to discuss your status as a nobleman of my fair country of Aspara. I wish, truly, that your sister had stayed her judgment longer, waited to reappoint you. Not, she says, shaking a single hand vertically between the two of you, because I hold any particular malice toward you yourself, Vendar. But because you are still on this journey, still an adventurer, and therefore, in many cases, perhaps not best suited to act in the capacity of an emissary or noble person of this country. And as I stated, I do not wish to give offense with these words, but I do wish to be clear how I feel. Seeing as our dear Lilith has already made this call, this decision, and it is her right to do so, then I have but one choice, and that is to support her and bestow the title and rights of a nobleman back upon your shoulders, whence they were torn those months ago. I am glad that you have brought witnesses for this. It's such a intolerably droll affair if it were just you and I in this room, honestly. I insist on such pomp. Isn't that right, Mr. Draknir?
It certainly is.
And there is a bit of a keen glint in her eye as she says this, as though she believes that you are sharing this joke together. Says, then, as it is within my power as Empress of all Aspara and her green lands, I wish, and she pauses meaningfully on the word, to confer upon you the rights and status of nobleman Vendar Draknir. To do that, Vendar, you will have to verbally attest to me that you will stand and choose, in any situation here forward, that which is best for Aspara, even if not for yourself.
From here forward, I will choose what is best for Aspara, even if it is not what is best for myself.
You see her lip, cracked and a little wrinkled as it is, curl at the edges. Smiles. Yes. Well, perhaps she's right. Great change upon this day. Then, if you would simply place your name on this register, and a very well-appointed man, human, wearing the colors of Aspara, will stride forward from around the area of the throne and flip open this large tome. It creaks, and the binding cracks and snaps, and flips a few pages to the left to find an open line upon it. Your name will be once again entered into our register of active noblemen.
I'll sign my name.
As you do so,
Alright.
she will wave, and another servant will come forward, holding a lacquered box. It has been enameled white, and upon the top of it has been inlaid in what appears to be gold the seal of Aspara, the symbol of the nation, which is it is an image of the Dawnspire Tower, with the sun rising behind it, as it protrudes out of a circular, portrait frame, effectively. And then about it, you see marks indicating the glistening waters of the River Nalthus. This is actually a picture that I drew a long time ago, and I don't think I ever had occasion to share it with the group, but I will place it in chat later. And she will take this box from him, and open it, toward herself, and nod, seeming to confirm its contents. And then slowly she will rotate it open toward you, Vendar, and within you will see that there is a piece of parchment that has been tightly rolled and is wrapped around with a gold ribbon. And around this ribbon, or next to this ribbon, the parchment is also slipped through a gold ring, the top of which, the face of which, is pointed at you. And you can see that it bears a familiar mark. You can see within the logo here, the old symbol of House Draknir, but it has been updated. You did recognize most of this logo hanging in your mother's house, as the emblem of House Draknir has been superimposed onto the Dawn Spire, as though sharing this emblem of authority with the entire country. You know that this change was made when your sister entered the Belgrin family. And also when you were excommunicated and they needed to change their family sigil. That is the family's new sigil. However, yours differs further. In that, at the base, at the bottom of the circle that ensconces the Dawnspire and your family's crest, there are two crossed daggers.
Fitting.
And, seeing your expression, which is not disgust, I imagine it is appreciation.
Yes.
She will slowly close the box and extend it towards you to take the entire thing. And she will say, before you take it, she will say, "You'll notice that we have given you your own sigil, which ties you back to your family, but keeps you at arm's length. This goes back to what I said earlier about you still being an errant knight of sorts. When your mission is finished, then you may take up your family's true sigil, but this will do in place and allow them to disavow any actions that you might perform, which they would not wish associated with them. You understand?
I do.
Very good. One more thing to understand is that that is not, in this case, a punishment. It is simply protection for your sister, who is now part of my family.
Of course.
She then once again lowers the box. She like draws it back slightly to have this momentary conversation, then lowers the box back towards you so that you may take it. And the box is yours to keep. Sir Vendar Draknir of Aspara.
You honor me, Empress.
Bring honor to us all, please. And she will smile as she says that, as if to indicate she means it sincerely and it is not sarcasm. Then, that is about all the ceremony my back has patience for, as she crosses the room back to her throne. Says, I will keep as sharp an eye as the tower permits on your actions and this burgeoning war with the dragons. I have reminded myself that she had more information to give you, so I should open my notes. But hey, you've got a signet ring again.
Yeah, we'll give this one away.
You very much know how to use it this time.
Yeah.
Right. So, as she says, this burgeoning war with the dragons, she will, at this point, seat herself. And then look meaningfully at the party. And it would be appropriate for the group to approach as she returns to her throne. Especially since she is now indicating she has more to say. She looks at you very seriously, and she says, to that end, your group should be informed that there has been no recent word from our soldiers, nor those of our allies in Ebengard. Our latest reports from them, which are weeks old at this point, indicate that Watchtower Point and regions to the south have fallen to the dragons. The survivors, such as they were evacuated to other places in Ebengard. And our soldiers...
Leah lets out a squeak when she hears Watchtower Point.
You will see Empress Belgrin momentarily startle at the squeak, look towards you, as this is interrupted momentarily, her train of thought. What is Leah's expression?
Shocked.
So she will hold eye contact, or look into your face if you are not making eye contact, momentarily, before continuing and saying, our soldiers' report at that time was that they were supporting the forces of Ebengard to hold what they called the border of the dragon's territory. That the people in the outlying towns of Watchtower Point had been pushed out to safety, and these were now what's the right word for this? Well, a no man's land. That they would look for signs of the dragons attacking and move people out, fight dragons that came out. We had suffered significant losses, but most of the skirmishes outside of Watchtower Point have been not the children of Tiamat, but their own children, it seems. At that point, she will return her gaze to Leah and kind of lean forward. You can almost hear the creaking as she leans onto her knees a bit. Says, "I feel, young lady, that your response indicates an attachment to the area of Watchtower Point."
That is correct, Your Majesty. I was born there.
You see her expression kind of goes a bit ashy, and her mouth presses to a thin line, flat, expressionless for a moment before she says, "You have my deepest condolences, young woman.
This is fine. I don't really have anything else to do there. No family members or anything anyway.
That is perhaps well then.
It's still shocking to think that it might be gone.
It's hard to say what the conditions there are precisely. As I said, my reports are out of date at this point, but it was some time back that the trade routes between Thanon City and Watchtower Point were cut off entire. So I don't feel that the odds many actually escaped the city proper are high. But this, I think, is merely fuel for your fire to unseat these lizards and send them back whence they came. Am I not correct?
You would be correct. It's our primary mission.
Now that we have lost communication with the soldiers who were there, and I have not had any word from King Lionborn, I think that it is likely that they are in dire straits as we speak. It would be my suggestion as your Empress, Sir Draknir, that you make haste to their aid, as Ebengard is an important ally that you might recall you are responsible for making for us.
Yeah, it's been a while since we saw King Lineborn. Sounds like the situation there is dire.
And at that, I shan't take up any more of your precious time. Voice of Change. I do hope that you make good decisions and kick some dragon ass for me.
We will do our best.
Oh, yes, we will.
You see, once again, her old lips curl, and she says, "Go with the blessings of Aspara and Empress Belgrin."
I curtsy deep.
She doesn't look like she's going to rise again. She seems tired. But she does bend herself at the waist in her chair, in her best bow, and both of the servants, one on either side of the throne, the ones who brought over the book and the box, will also bow in her stead. You are dismissed, Voice of Change.
Then we go.
And with that, we shall end the session. Good job, everybody. I
Yep.
very much enjoyed the discussion about the Lich.
Oh, the fuckery of magic. It's great. Causes so many problems.
Raiken was being so disrespectful during the ceremony, having his back turned.
You're right. He was. What a dick. Ugh, someday I have to do more detail on some of these maps. It's just they're so time-consuming. Anyway, I would like everybody to please take 1,500 experience points.
Are you intending to still be streaming?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't said goodbye yet. Gotta say goodbye, stream.
Yeah, we have to say
That's
goodbye.
true.
And I usually include the XP awards on the stream.
Mhm.
But I do
Always good to
appreciate
have
the
records.
reminder. I know I have been bad about it. Anyway. Then, with that, welcome back, Eliza. I was really happy you could join us again. And, it seems you have some interesting choices to make when next time on Everybody Loves Raiken.
Goodbye.
Bye.